So let's bring that on. Castlevania Season 1. I just said Castlevania Season 1. That's crazy. So Castlevania is on Netflix. It's only 4 episodes long. 4 25-minute episodes long. Which immediately bummed me out because I saw Season 1 was on. I was like, all right, I'm going to watch Season 1. About what, 10 to 13 episodes? 1 hour long each? Let's do it. Then I saw the running time of the episodes. I was like, oh, okay, so 25 minutes each, 10 episodes. Still feeling good. Then in episode 4, it's like in the Season 1 finale. But basically, the premise is exactly what I heard the premise was going to be. Pretty much a Netflix series of Castlevania based on Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse. You see Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse in here. You see some lore from Symphony of the Night. And what they had to do in here is a pretty difficult task. And that is to take an 8-bit video game and create a script around it. And hopefully execute it well in directing. Now Castlevania and Castlevania 3, the Castlevania games have had the story there, but not a script. In terms of dialogue of the characters, nuance, I don't know Trevor Belmont's personality from playing Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse. What got him on this road? What was his attitude like in the beginning? If you're going off Castlevania 3, it's like it's a Castlevania game with some characters and you have to write the story around it. Creating a story, creating lore for an 8-bit Nintendo game, we've seen it happen before, doesn't always work. They had some freedom to translate in the best way they saw. That can help in a situation like this, it can be a hindrance. You don't want to take too many liberties because then you just did what video game movies do. So the fact that they pulled it off here, round of applause. But episode 1 of this show grabbed me. I loved it. As far as first episodes go, this is perfect. It's what you had to do. And it's really Dracula-centric. It concentrates on Dracula. Dracula meets this woman who would become his wife. Then a bunch of religious zealots burn her at the stake. He's like, all right, humanity, we'll screw you. And 1 year later, he unleashes all the forces of hell on mankind, town by town, which is so great. It's so much Dracula storyline and lore that I wanted. I know they've done that in Castlevania games before, like Lords of Shadow is very, hey, here's the origin of Dracula. Most of the time in Castlevania games, including Castlevania 3, you know Dracula's the bad guy, you run into him at the end, and then you kill him. But episode 1 of this was like, why is Dracula bad? And the greatest thing is you really empathize with this guy. I mean, as Dracula becomes Dracula after the first episode, really most of the bad guys you see are the religious zealots. Then you look at those people and you look at Dracula, you're like, yeah, I'd probably kill them too. But Dracula does take it a few steps further and says, hey, why not humanity? But it's always great when something can make you empathize with the villain. Like, I get it, man, that was shitty. But I did want to see more of Dracula and his wife. I wanted to see the two of them really bond. I wanted to see that love that he would then lose. But it's basically they meet and then the next scene is like 20 years later. So you don't really get that in here. Doesn't mean you can't see it in flashbacks. We got season 2 coming. If that goes well, we'll have season 3. So they can fill in the gaps of Dracula's love and what he actually lost. Give it to you in portions, you know? That could be good. And I like Trevor Belmont in here. The Belmonts usually being the main character you play as in a Castlevania game. The protagonist to Dracula's antagonist. But he was kind of a snarky drunk wash-up. The Belmont family's a big name. Everyone knows, like, oh, they're demon hunters, they're vampire hunters. But at a point, for reasons unknown, society just kind of said, yeah, we don't need your help anymore, get lost. So now he's in a bar, he's a drunk. And really the main thing that happens in season 1 is Belmont comes across this town that's being ravaged and terrorized by Dracula's demons. And he helps this super secret organization of helpful monks called speakers because they speak their history, they don't write it down, which is the worst way to pass on history ever. You ever play that game where you line up 20 people and tell one a story and that person tells the next person the same story and that person tells the next one the same story and by the end of the 20 people it's a completely different story? Yeah, they never played that because they think it's a good idea to be like, let's not write anything down, let's just talk. But the point is he helps them out and in the end it sets up for season 2. In that, this show is great setup for the Castlevania series that is to come, I'm sure. I won't lie, 4 episodes is kind of a bummer. You're like, I could go for more. Like I said on Twitter, I feel like the nicest of the entertainment critiques someone could ever give is, I wish it were longer. And then enter a bunch of dick jokes on my Twitter. But you really do feel like Netflix was testing the water with this, and I totally get why. They're like, oh, you want to do an animated Castlevania? Sure, let's do 4 episodes. 4 half-hour-long episodes. Business-wise, I totally get it, but now that the show is getting praise and people seem to enjoy it, season 2 is supposed to be longer. Great. And before parents go, yeah, I'm totally gonna sit little Timmy down, he would like this. No, it's animated, man, but this is a mature-ass story. Mature story, mature animation. After the whole Dracula thing goes down, you're like, oh, that's violent. And these guys are talking in the bar like, oh, no, I said, fuck it. You're like, oh. Okay, so bring the adults. Really, though, you look at the potential of what this could be, it really could be the animated Game of Thrones Castlevania story you've probably wanted since Game of Thrones happened. Looks like it's not going to be live action, but I'll take animated because the animation is actually really good. It's crisp, it's clean, and in terms of directing, they use the animation to show imagery that totally parallels what the mood is supposed to be, what's being said. There's one scene where this priest is talking, all you see is his fist while he's talking about these people are mine. It was completely effective. I could have gone for more Dracula though, not just in the beginning. I like it when a show shows both sides of the story, and granted you got Dracula's side in the first episode, but while the shit's going down, is he still racked with grief? Does he have regret? Like when you see an infant baby in the mouth of a demon while the demon's running off with it to eat it, which you do see, is Dracula, is he mournful? Is he sorry? Does he act tough but then go to the picture of his wife and just kind of cry and then make a fist and go back to killing people? So I don't know if there is a story to tell from Dracula's side. Maybe we'll get that in season 2. Maybe they tried it in season 1. They were like, nah, trust us. It didn't really flow, so we took it out. I don't know. The show gets you so interested in Dracula in episode 1 that to not really have any of him throughout the rest of it, you kind of felt bummed out. You're invested now. And the show has a lot more humor than I thought too. Like some of it dark humor, but Belmont's kind of a funny, snarky ass guy. He's kind of like that Han Solo vibe. In that, he just finds a lot of this shit ridiculous and he's like, leave or you're just gonna die, by the way. I like me some bloody dark humor. Guys, in the end, Castlevania season 1 I thought it was great. For what it is, if it was theatrically released and this is all you got, you'd be like, nah, it doesn't feel like a complete movie. But that is the advantageous thing about using the Netflix or streaming platform. Hey, here's a little taste. Here's season 1. Do you like it? People will be like, yeah, can you get another one of these next year? Sure can. So this was a great way to go about it. It was very smart. I would say check it out. It's worth watching. It's worth supporting. I don't want this thing to get fireflied, although we do have season 2 coming. That's just season 2. I want to see a lot more, man. This could be quite a medieval animated epic. But all right, guys, so Castlevania season 1. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below. Let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.